When you started trading, have you ever asked yourself, how long does it take? How long do you have to work hard and learn and do your best to achieve consistent profit and start making money? You are listening to the Confidence in Trading podcast. I am your host, Agnieszka Wood, a trading mindset coach and a seasoned day trader with over a decade of experience. If you are new to my show, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back for the next episode. In this podcast, we explore the fascinating world of psychology and the human element of trading. We take a deep dive into different perspectives to inspire you and help you navigate the emotional ups and downs of trading with self-compassion and confidence. Whether you're just starting out or you're a seasoned pro, this podcast is your trusted companion providing support on your trading journey. Get ready to boost your confidence and unlock the secrets to mastering your mindset for success. Welcome to episode number 28, How to Shorten the Curve of Trading Success. So why is that it is so difficult to pinpoint the exact length of the phase where you are learning and then the phase where you are getting better and then finally when you can start making money trading? If you go and study to become a doctor or maybe a lawyer, it's very normal to have a certain plan and knowing that after so many years, you will finally be able to pay your bills from your work. In trading, that is completely different. It's not only uncertain whether you will ever make it, but you have no idea how long it's going to take you. When you get into trading, you are taking a lot of habits out of your daily life and bringing into the market. And those habits, and mostly what I'm talking about, are thinking habits. So the truths, the beliefs that you have and carry that usually work in your daily life to your advantage, the way you achieve success, the way you think about failures, the way that you try to be successful and working hard and trying to do your best in order to get forward. Those habits are not working in trading, but nevertheless, you do bring them with you. And the whole learning curve is really about unlearning those habits. First of all, it's not easy because if you are not aware of the habits you have, and you just get into trading and start placing trades and getting emotional and getting into that whole roller coaster, that is very damaging, first of all, for your self-confidence, but also you are actually installing bad habits even more. Instead of working on your progress, you sort of just circling around, struggling with problems that you are not even entirely aware of you have. So you are trying to find solutions to not overtrading, to not losing money, and using the solutions that you are used to in your daily life. For example, working harder, reading more books, changing your strategy, and so on and so on. So unlearning habits is a big thing if you want to shorten your learning curve. Now, if we look into the time that it takes to learn a new habit, there are different schools, different researches that show that to change a habit, it takes about 21 days. That's like the general overall rule. You need 21 days to change a habit. It is important to recognize that new habit formation is a gradual process. It doesn't happen from one to another day. It really varies from person to person. How long will it take? It depends on your commitment. It depends on how badly do you want and how persistent you are in practicing that new habit. A study that was published in the European Journal of Social Psychology in 2009 found that on average, it took participants around 66 days to form a new habit, with a range extending from 18 to even 254 days, depending on the individual and the behavior. As you might know, psychology of trading is a key element to success. And big part of it is knowing yourself and learning how to act in your best interest, how to have integrity, how to make rational decisions, and how to stop controlling the market. This is one of the habits that is very persistent for many people, and it has to do with trying to control, having control over what is happening to us so that we can feel safe. We bring that habit into trading. And as you can imagine, since market is an uncertain environment and you cannot say for sure what is going to happen, when you start bringing your habit of control, and usually this is not controlling yourself, but controlling the market, that's when things go south. So the very first step to take if you want to shorten the curve of trading success, if you want to start getting on the right track, you have to become aware of your habits, your behavioral habits, and also your thinking habits, which, from the mindset perspective and psychology perspective, are actually the first one to change because whatever you think, what comes up in your head, that will influence how you feel. And then out of that feeling, you will be acting. You have to realize that we are a physical being, and within our body, there is a lot of chemical different processes that are coordinated by our brain. Our brain and a body is always try to keep equilibrium and keep us in balance. So, for example, if you have been exposed to stress for a longer time, the level of cortisol and stress chemicals and adrenaline is rising. Now, once you have that higher for an extended period of time, that becomes your new level. So when you want to change the habit and you say, okay, I'm going to meditate and I'm going to start relaxing more so I can be less reactive, less emotional, your body is still asking for that new or the increased level of stress hormones. So by that, it might be sending you thoughts and impulses to increase that. So maybe you have ever met people that were, so-called drama queens. And if they had no problem in life, they would create one. And that's how those cycles are working. So in order to change those processes, you really have to become aware of them first. And to change habits, especially the habits that you have been repeating for a longer time, it could be even ruminating thoughts. Like every time when you lose, you might be beating yourself up for it or calling yourself names. Those are habits that are very damaging for your own self-worth, your perception of your identity, and your self-confidence. So it takes a lot of discipline and a lot of consistency in executing your new habits that you have learned and your trading plans. No matter how cliche it sounds, your trading plan is your lifeline. This is that element that is showing you which way you wanted to go before all your old habits kicked in. The trading plan is like your insurance policy, sort of. If you would compare it to a daily life, this is your insurance policy that is helping you to switch the way you think, the way you act to the new you. Traders often come to me and they say, I have to make it. I cannot stop. I have put so much money into trading and I've been trading for over 10 years and it's still not working. If this is your situation, I absolutely feel your pain and I feel your frustration. trying something for so long and not seeing the results that you want can be heartbreaking. But I also want you to understand that you can stop that cycle today. You have that power. And maybe your mind is telling you right now that, yeah, right. Easy to say. I have tried so many times. And this is exactly the internal dialogue that I mean, something that is sabotaging you to actually take the right steps because your body and your mind want to keep that status quo regardless how bad it feels. That feeling is familiar, sort of safe from the body perspective because it knows what to do. It knows how it feels. So you always come back to it. Imagine now that you stop doing what you were doing so far, and tomorrow is completely another day. And it might be even hard to imagine right now how the day would look like. From one to another day, having consistency in your trading and following your plan and not giving in to your emotions. It's even hard to imagine, right? Because you are so used to having what you have and you keep rehashing that situation in your mind. So all your energy goes into not losing, into not failing. Oh, I failed again. This is the same story. I tried and it didn't work. Constantly looking back on what was and what is going wrong. I invite you to imagine the situation that you want to have in trading. Like, how does that look? And start looking towards that new you. How would you think? What would you believe? How would you talk? How would you be standing in front of your computers? What would you be telling yourself? How would you trade? Because once you have that image, with practice and discipline, you can consistently put your thoughts on it and start looking into the right direction. So, really changing that internal dialogue and internal representation of yourself as a successful trader. If you want to shorten your way to success, it's not going to happen by itself. It's not going to happen with time simply because you have been trading for a long time. You got to put the work in. And it is not the work that most people are used to. It's the mental work, it's the thinking and not the doing. If you want to become a successful trader, it is not about trading more. It's actually about trading less. Can you stay away and not be triggered by the market to take trades that are not your setup? Can you resist the temptation? So those things are like the first steps that you can take in order to shorten the curve because it will help you to have more distance to the market itself. And the more distance you have, the more control you get over yourself because it is about controlling how you act, managing your thoughts, making sure that you can self-regulate your emotions so that the market can do whatever it does, going crazy up or flushing down, and you will be able to simply look at it and still make your own decisions regardless of the temptations that you had in the past. One of the things that is definitely not helping to shorten the curve of success is stress. So in the market, you are constantly exposed to stress. It's a stress of making the best decisions, stress to perform, making a decision that will work while you have no idea if it's going to work, stress of losing money, stress of maybe telling your spouse how your day was and that it wasn't really good, stress of will I have enough money to pay my bills. There is so much pressure put on traders every single day. Understanding what environment you are operating in can really help you to choose the best way for you to show up and to give yourself the chance to perform. It's a high pressure environment, and not everyone is able to handle that. And yes, there are, of course, some techniques for managing stress, such as deep breathing exercises, visualization, physical activity. So, all the things that will help you maintain balance, not just balance within your body, but also work-life balance, so that not all your focus is on trading, especially if you want to sustain long-term success. And self-care. If you do not take care of yourself, you have to remember nobody else will. And that applies to making the right decisions. So, getting out of the loser when you see your trade is not working, or staying longer in the winner when the trade is outperforming, but also physical self care. If you feel that you are experiencing a lot of stress, and that's not very difficult to notice, you have to understand that when you are in a situation like that, you will not be making neutral, rational decisions. It is simply because your body will be going into a survival mode, and everything will be focused on getting you out of that situation. And that's what happens when you are in a losing trade and you get stressed and you see the price approaching your stop, and you just simply remove it. I want to touch upon some support. How can you get support, especially during trading hours? If you notice that being in a chat room or in some trading community is making you feel more relaxed, is making you feel more motivated to follow your plan and inspired, and that you really can focus well on what you are doing, and you're getting some mentorship in line with your trading goals, by all means do that. But if you are in a chat room that, or in a trading room that makes you feel anxious because everyone is posting their profits or throwing the tickers left and right, and those are not even on your list, ask yourself, how does that make you feel? Is this good for you? Do you feel peaceful, or is this really helping you to perform? And how does that add to the quality of your trades? There is really no one answer. How long is it going to take? Because the answer is it's going to take you as long as you need to finally make a decision to change your habits, take it seriously, and start practicing and implementing new habits, new way of thinking. But until then, it will be very challenging, and I would say close to impossible to change anything. Because if you do not become aware how you sabotage your progress, you will just keep doing that. It's simply your habit right now. So it is a matter of making your decision. Do I want to change? And if you do, if you say yes, then the next step is not keep trading. Next step is gaining awareness of how am I sabotaging myself right now? And what are my habits that I need to change in order to change the direction of my trading? If you would like some help in developing the awareness and walking through the other steps of changing your habits and creating new ones so that you can get faster to your goals, check out my Twitter. I posted this morning a link to a special offer for my group coaching program, the Trading Mindset Mastery Journey. And the first 5 people who join the group will get a free strategy call with me, 101, valued $300. And I will personally help you plan your transformation even before you start the journey. If this is something you are interested in, check out my Twitter. And the special offer is just for the first 5 people. So hurry up. And my Twitter handle is @ahead_coach. So ahead coach. Changing your trading habits that are sabotaging your progress does not have to take long, but there are several factors that can influence how long it's going to take you to establish a new habit. And that includes complexity of the behavior. The more complex habits may take longer than forming a simply new ones. And I'm talking also about your thinking habits. Just simply changing one single belief might take shorter than changing a belief that is connected to how you feel about yourself and how you value yourself. So, your self image and your identity. Another thing that is important to think about is consistency. Regular and repeated practice is really essential in habit formation. Doing something once and then forget it is not going to form any habit. You have to consistently perform the behavior and in the same context in order to help reinforce the habit. Again, your body and your brain has to make the neural connections to sort of connect the dots in order to actually form the habit. And then once you learn that new habit, then you have to repeat it to make that connection really strong. Your level of motivation and your commitment is really going to impact how quickly it will get established. So whatever your motivation is to trade and achieve success, make sure you remind it to yourself, because that is going to help you to get through those moments where your head will say, oh, you cannot do it anyway. It's too difficult. Just forget about it. Make sure you will create the environment that will support your desired behavior and that will facilitate your habit formation. If you are on a regular basis, get swayed away from your trading plan by seeing some trading tip on Twitter, do not look at Twitter during your trading. It's that simple. So make sure, this is just an example, but make sure that you will make your environment and your process support your new habit formation and your previous habits. So the habits that you already have, they are still there. The key is to put more attention to the new habits that you want to have. That will definitely influence the time that you will be forming a new habit, because you are not beginning with a clean slate. So you might be pulled back into your old behavior while you are trying to establish the new habit. That's why it is very important to find out what is the program behind the habit you're doing. What is causing you to sabotage your progress? What beliefs do you have? What do you tell to yourself that is making you make those decisions that are not in your best interest? The key thing I want you to remember from this episode is that developing awareness of your thoughts and of your habits that you have right now is the very first step to changing your programming that is running at the back of your mind. And it is sabotaging your progress and making the curve to trading success longer. I hope this episode has brought you more clarity on when can you expect positive trading result and what needs to be done in order to get to your goals. It's not just wishful thinking that's going to do it. It's not the time. It's the work that you need to put in, but it's a different kind of work than the doing. It's more the thinking rather than doing. Thank you for listening to the Confidence in Trading podcast. If you are enjoying my show, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and tell me what you like about it. Thanks to you, more traders will be able to find me, and together we can make a bigger impact. So thank you for your support. And if you are new to my show, don't forget to subscribe so you can come back for the next episode. And make sure you check out some of the previous shows. Thank you again for tuning in. This is Agnieszka Wood from A Head Coach. Bye for now.